So there's a new Taylor Swift song called Antihero. And the basic premise of the song is that her problems are self-created. The main tagline of the song is, I'm the problem, it's me. So how does that apply to the stuff that we're usually talking about here on my channel, Motivational Esquire? I'm gonna talk about, after 15 years almost of dealing with people, thousands and thousands of people that I've counseled, helped, represented in different situations, but most of them had housing issues. There are three main ways people are sabotaging their mortgage life, and I'm gonna go over them in about 5 seconds. So the purpose of this episode of Motivational Esquire, beyond talking about Taylor Swift, is not to shame anybody. I know that a lot of people are in the different foreclosure situations for reasons that are out of their control. However, you should listen to this because I'm going to talk about the psychology and a lot of ways people are sabotaging their mortgage life. What I mean is, there are three main things that people do that sabotage themselves when they are in this type of default situation and are really trying to get out of it. Now, the number one most important thing, and I've talked about this in several of my videos, is not asking for help early on or not asking for help at all. Now, this is a really big deal because if you don't ask for help, then no one's going to help you. The government, the banks, they're not going to step up and reach out to you and say, hey, here's this loan modification or this assistance that you have not asked for, but here you go. The number one thing you have to do, and the number one way you sabotage yourself when you're dealing with mortgage foreclosure, is not asking for help. I understand there's a paralyzing fear and anxiety about what's happening to you. A lot of people face this because they can't handle the fact that they're losing their homes. They feel overwhelmed. And it's overwhelming when you get a notice from the bank that says you owe $20, $30, $40, $50,000. I understand that. I deal with that all the time. However, you shouldn't be fearful because there are a lot of ways to get out of this. But if you don't make the first step and if you don't reach out to the bank or to the different government programs that are out there to help people, you get nothing. So beyond that, the next thing, and this is a really big deal also, is while you're in the foreclosure situation and in your forbearance situation, you don't save any money. This is important. You need money. You might not have all of the money that you need to reinstate, but some money is helpful for a lot of reasons. If you haven't paid your mortgage in a year, you should have some money saved. This is not an opportunity to basically spend a lot more money. Foreclosure and forbearance in many ways is a great opportunity for people to save money because you don't know how it's going to end. A lot of people do get loan modifications or they get some sort of assistance, but many don't. Many will have to move out and lose their homes. It's much better to do that if you have a little bit of savings in the bank to be able to help you. And you might need that money to reinstate your loan also. This is an amazing opportunity to save money. Now, the biggest thing, and this is what I've noticed after doing this for almost 15 years, that a lot of people treat these situations as a raise, meaning that they raise their lifestyle. They start spending a lot more money than they spent before. It is not a raise. Forbearance and foreclosure is not a raise. Just because you're not paying your mortgage doesn't mean that you have all this extra money now to do the things that you've always wanted to do, like take vacations and buy expensive cars or expensive things. Do not treat it as such because you are doing yourself a disservice. You should be saving that money. Let's say that your mortgage payment was $2,000 a month. At least put $1,000 a month in the bank. If it's 12 months, it's 12 grand. 12 grand is a lot of money. It's enough money to move out. It's enough money to help reinstate the loan. That's money that you can do something with. But if you have no money at the end of the 12 months, then you've done yourself a disservice. Now, the third and final thing is, and this is the hardest one, and this is the one that people don't really understand until they're in the situation, is not preparing mentally for when you have to start paying either the mortgage again or some sort of rent. And what I mean by this is that eventually you are going to have to pay for your housing. Housing is not free forever. You can't expect to live in this limbo state of not paying anything for the rest of your life unless you pay off the house or you win the lottery or something. But eventually you're going to have to come back into reality and you're going to have to make the payment. For most people, making that mortgage payment is the hardest thing they have to do every month. They have to cut back. They have to save money. They have to do things in order to make that payment every 30 days. You have to go back into that mode. You have to cut your lifestyle and you have to return to where you were before the mortgage foreclosure or forbearance started in order to make it successful. There is a scary statistic which during the 2008 foreclosure crash, a lot of people got mortgage modifications, but about 50 or 60% relapsed and defaulted again. Why is that? Because they were not prepared to lower their lifestyle and to make mortgage payments. It's very easy to live without a mortgage payment for many, many years. Or many, many months, and then all of a sudden, it's very difficult to then go back to the way it was where you have to save $3,000. Remember, this is the number one thing. If you are close to getting a loan modification, do it now. Look at your finances and make sure that you're able to afford that mortgage payment, but be realistic. If you've all of a sudden taken out lots of new debts, lots of new expenses or luxury expenses, which a lot of people have, like more expensive cars and that sort of thing, you might want to talk to a bankruptcy attorney to get rid of some of those debts in order to afford your home. Your home is the most important thing. It's the most important thing that you will spend every month. So I'm not trying to scare anybody and I'm not trying to shame anybody, but these are the realities. And again, I've dealt with this for many, many, many years, and I can tell you with authority that these things that I talked about are very real phenomena. A lot of people relapse. A lot of people cannot afford. They can afford it, but they don't know how to pay their mortgage again. It's a learned skill. I hope that you take the time to look at your finances and go back and save your home by cutting your expenses and make sure that you can make your mortgage payment. Diego Mendez, Motivational Esquire. Thanks.